Hey everybody, Tim Dwyer here. Well, beautiful weather down here in South Australia at the moment, and it's been a great Saturday. I've had a very relaxing day, really have. And but I want to talk to you about something pretty special. You see, where we are in this country right now is, everybody's blaming ASIO for not knowing about this guy, or Albo for not doing this, or somebody else for not doing that, and all hell's broke loose over social media, and there's calls for royal commissions, which is just bloody laughable because the people you'd have sit on the royal commissions is somebody's brothers, cousins, uncles, aunties is gonna anyway, look, it's just a frigging joke. Anyway, whose fault is all this shit? Whose fault? Whose fault is Bondi? Whose fault is the cost of living? Whose fault is the price of fuel? Whose fault is everything? Well, I got to tell you, I figured it out. It's yours and it's mine. It's our fault. Why? Because we've been too bloody tolerant. We've tolerated communists. We've tolerated Muslim extremists. We've tolerated all sorts of shit and thievery in our life in this country, coming from those who call themselves the honourables. It's our fault. And if it's got to be fixed, we're the only ones that can fix it because it's our fault. We let the weakest of the weak lead. We let the softest of the softest fly their pretty rainbow flags. We let the weak of the weak control things. And then we complain because we find ourselves having to surrender our personal protection called guns. You know, not thousands, hundreds of people die every year on the highways. Now, I'm not belittling what happened in Sydney, but let's get real here. Hundreds of people die every year out on the roads. They don't ban the bloody cars. I mean, they're shit cars anyway they bring into today. They're just rubbish. But they don't ban them. And when somebody stabs somebody with a knife, they don't come to your house and take away your kitchen knives, your carving knife. And when some African comes raging through the bloody shopping centre, waving a machete around, they put up bins worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Somebody's brothers got rich on that job. But they don't blame the perpetrator. They blame the equipment. They blame the gun. They don't blame the perpetrator. Well, the perpetrator is the politician. The perpetrator is the police. The perpetrator is the courts. They're the perpetrators because they've allowed this to happen. Let me share the screen because I've had a guts full. You might notice that my tone is somewhat different tonight. Look at this. What is totalitarianism? A political system where the government controls every part of the citizen's life. There's Albanese. They want to control what you say, because they want to demonize words rather than get rid of the problem. The problem is the Muslim who wants to kill everybody who's not a Muslim. The totalitarianism that they want to control your money. The bank, they don't want to control the banks who control your money. They want to control what you eat, where you go, and how you get there. That's called totalitarianism, and this is the Australian face of it. Now, this is not Anthony Albanese. This is supposedly Anthony Norman Ellery Albanese, but I doubt whether it is or not, because when you look at earlier pictures of Anthony Norman Albanese, his teeth are quite different. I don't know who the hell this shitbox is, but he's the one waving the flag at the moment. Here's some other totalitarianism people. And in the 20s and 30s, the rise of totalitarianism, these lovely people here, I'm sure you would have loved to have lived under their rule. And now here we have it in Australia in 25, 26. My question is, will you stand up now, or will you be a slave forever? Reclaiming our lawful constitutional parliament is what must be done to bring peace and prosperity back to our culture, to protect our culture. Because if that is not done, We're done. You must understand, we are resource rich, but morally poor. We are resource rich, but leadership in the tank. You and I, we caused this problem by allowing the weakest of the weak to take the positions of the honourables. It's got to stop. We've got to reclaim our parliament. We've got to reclaim our constitution. You see this face here? This is Gough Whitlam, an incredibly intelligent man, evil to the bloody core. I mean, just plain evil. But with a stroke of a pen, he committed treason in the Crimes Act. He amended this in 1973, and he took out the Great Seal of the Commonwealth to insert the Great Seal of Australia. He didn't ask anybody. There was no referendum. There was none of this. It was just Labor totalitarianism in its infancy. There's our Great Seal of the Commonwealth. This bloke replaced it. Nobody knew. It was done by fraud and treason. And then in the same day, basically, in the Act of 73, Whitlam omitted the definition of Jervis Bay Territory and omitted the Chief Electoral Officer of the Commonwealth and insert the Chief Australian Electoral Officer. You're voting in a corporate elections, state and federal. They're not Commonwealth-held elections. It's a fraud. Now, the Governor-General's role is to be the eyes and ears of the Crown. Now, don't get me started on King Charles. King Charles is just, unfortunately, a very despicable man. Very despicable man, right? Just beyond contempt. But the law says she must be the King's representative here in this country. Now, in her own comments, she said, "The King does not direct me, and I do not seek his advice. It's the Prime Minister and the ministry I take my counsel from." This skank is misrepresenting the office of Governor-General to the tune of $800,000 a year. She is an auto pen just to make you and I feel good that the system is still in place. It's not. It's broken beyond control. There's not enough duct tape. They can't make enough duct tape to fix what's going on here in Australia. This is the Governor-General's role must remain impartial, non-political, and anchored in the Crown. Skank. Fraud. Not a Governor-General's bootlace. Let's have another look at it. You want more? Well, I'll give you a little bit more. The legislative power of the Commonwealth shall be vested in the federal parliament, which shall consist of the Queen or the Crown, the Senate and the House of Representatives, which is hereinafter called the Parliament or the Parliament of the Commonwealth. That's it. There's no other versions available. Not the Parliament of Australia. The Parliament of Australia is outside the constitutional bounds. It's a fraud. It's a fraud. And these people are calling press conferences and saying we're going to do this and do that and make more gun laws and we'll take more tax and we'll do all sorts of crap. No. These people are frauds. And all you got to do is stop being fearful of these frauds. Oh, Tim, they've got guns, they've got police, they've got all that sort of stuff. I know. But I'll tell you something. The police, the federal police and the military, under this government, the house that they're buying will be taken out from under them just like yours because they took away in fee simple. That's a topic for another day. They're the ones that are going to have their bank account frozen the minute they say boo to a goose. These people are operating because they are fearful of what's coming. You and I, we need to get rid of our fear. Look, here's the oath, right? Oh, Tim, we've seen it before. Well, maybe you have. Maybe you haven't paid attention. I, AB, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Victoria, her heirs and successors according to law, so help me God. The affirmation. I, AB, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Victoria, her heirs and successors according to law. Now, the name of the crown can be, name of the monarch can be changed. There is no provision for any deviation from this constitutional requirement. No member may take part in proceedings of the House until sworn in. Do you get that bit? There is no provision for any deviation from this constitutional requirement. No member may take part in proceedings of the House until sworn in. Here's the totalitarian Anthony Norman Ellery Albanese, whoever the hell he is. I, Anthony Norman Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister. It is nothing like that. He's a fraud. It's a scam. That is the Republican oath. And if they have not taken the oath, they cannot sit in the bloody Parliament, period. This is the lawful Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia, the legitimate seat of government of the People's Parliament. It is time for we the people to bring our country back under a legitimate Parliament. This is a den of vipers and scorpions, and as it turns out, terrorists. And everybody working in that place should be locked up. At least locked up. And every public servant, senior public servant, should be in there with them. This is a fraud and a pox on our nation. And everybody in there is a pox. See this? This is how it used to be. The Australian Commonwealth Military Forces. Now it's the Australian Military Force. Don't you understand? We are not being governed by legitimate people. We are being governed by fraudsters, communists, Fabians, Freemasons. We are being governed by the United Nations puppets. And I think it's time to have a good long think over Christmas of what the hell should this country look like come 2026, because if it's not stopped, it is going to look like a pile of bloody rocks from wherever the hell these people came from, these mass migration people. I'm sick of going into bloody service stations and needing to go to the toilet, only to get into the toilet and find that it's putrid. And I go out and tell the bloke behind the counter, and he goes, "Oh, very sorry, sir. I'm very sorry. We will clean it up immediately, sir. We have it cleaned every day, sir. Hasn't been cleaned for a bloody month. You muppets. Go back. Don't come here and fuck our country up. We've had enough. I'm sorry about the language. That's the first time I've dropped the F-bomb, but we've had enough. Time to grab these grubs by the scruff of the neck, bum rush them out of their offices, and let them know that we, Australia, we the people, we've had enough. We're going to take our country back. We don't want it back. We're taking it back. We're not asking. We're telling. Got it? Good.